Okay, as the great Vince Lombardi once said, what the hell is going on around here? So we've got no audio, we've got no working mics, we've got no monitor that works. We've got a laptop that I feel like throwing through the window. Yes, but we are here all night if you will have us. So appreciate you being here with the Voice of College Football. So despite all that, this is my favorite weekend of college football. And I will verify that people can hear me. Thank you, everyone. A little verification that you can hear me, I believe. I don't see anything yet. This is the kind of great production I love putting out there, where I'm checking for 45 minutes whether anybody can hear me. Hello, somebody tell me whether you can hear me. Hello, in the chat. Please, somebody. Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, rivalry weekend. Let's talk some football. Let's not talk about our operation falling apart. Okay, rivalry weekend. Yes, where was I? The greatest weekend in college football in the Iron Bowl, I would have to say, was the game that delivered the best this weekend. I can't think of a better game. I loved watching the Iron Bowl. And Auburn, once again, proved that they are the best, the very best in college football, aside from maybe Nebraska, although they look like a much better team than Nebraska, but a team that finds any way possible to blow a game. But, man, the Iron Bowl was phenomenal tonight. We got to see the ACC championship game berth come down to a final kick out on the West Coast at Cal Berkeley, where the Golden Bears upset SMU 38-35. SMU missed a kick at the gun. Therefore, I am elated. I am ecstatic today because my wish came true of a Duke-Virginia ACC championship game. I have been hoping and praying for that. So that has been my goal this entire year, to see Virginia and Duke in the ACC championship game, and we are blessed with that. All right. Appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football. And again, we apologize for all the crappy equipment that we have and for this not coming together tonight, but we gave it a third shot. Thank you, callers, for jumping on. We've left the call-in line both in the description section of the video, and it's also there in the chat. And of course, we're going to run through the scores, and I will stick around for up to 12 hours. I will do a 12-hour show if we want to talk college football all night. That is up to you, folks. That is up to you. We appreciate you being here. So here we go. Let's go through the scores. And then I'll probably post some instant analysis videos. So check that out. We did an earlier stream after Ohio State beat Michigan 27-9. So check out that live stream. We went live for about an hour after the game. And that's pretty much all we posted today, but I've got tons of notes on the other games, and we'll see if we do some instant analysis. And once again, that Alabama-Auburn game, exquisite. All right, to the scoreboard, my favorite scoreboard of the year, because I'm going to see a ton of games that I wish I could have seen, but you can only watch so much football. And I will try to check out the highlights of just about all of these games, because this is where I am a college football purist, and to hell with the playoff. I love rivalry weekend, and I am much more into, let's say, the Illinois Northwestern game being a rivalry game, or Minnesota-Wisconsin playing in the snow in a rivalry game, than I am like a non-rivalry game that has college football playoff implications. Much more into the rivalry games for sure. On to the scoreboard. Our final game of the regular season in college football. Well, we've got a few here. We've got UNLV leading Nevada 42-10. That is a overlooked rivalry, of course. We've got 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Running Rebels under Dan Mullen look to finish their season at 10-2 and 6-2 in the Mountain West Conference. And don't ask me to sort out the Mountain West Conference, but I think we've got a glut of 6-2 teams. Notre Dame leads Stanford 28-3 just before halftime. Fresno State at halftime lead San Jose State 21-7. If that score holds, Fresno State would only finish at 5-3, so they're out of the race there. I think we're looking at a situation between UNLV, Boise State, San Diego State in the Mountain West. All right, and then in what should be the final game of the regular season, Hawaii leads Wyoming 17-7. And the Rainbows looking to finish their regular season at 8-4, and most likely a trip to the Hawaii Bowl. All right, earlier today, Ohio State beat Michigan 27-9. Texas Tech over West Virginia 49-0. Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game. We have a final score from Seattle with Oregon winning 26-14. They have locked up a CFP bid at 11-1. Oklahoma, despite all the asinine comments I saw online tonight, I wasn't even on X for that long, and I must have seen 3 so-called sports writers say, we need to rethink this Oklahoma going to the college football playoff. Did anybody see the eye test? They didn't pass the eye test today. I would love to take those knuckleheads that call themselves professionals and take them behind a woodshed and beat the hell out of them. What are you talking about? Oklahoma's 10-2 against one of the toughest schedules in the country. Just because they won one game by 4 points and you don't like their offense, these idiots must just be into watching 7-on-7 football. And unless it's a pretty 40-yard touchdown pass down the field, they don't understand the game. Bunch of idiots. I'm going to do my best to track down these morons and get them on the show this week to help them understand the game of football and allow them the platform to explain their position, at least here, with a bit of a rebuttal. I'm sure that they do that on their platforms, but with an actual breathing, speaking human being on the other side that can discuss the game and discuss what this is all about. So anybody out there that does not think that Oklahoma has earned a playoff spot this year, I don't have help for you. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Alabama, again, in a thriller over Auburn, 27-20. Auburn is certainly the team with the best 5-7 record in the country. My goodness. I would not want to play Auburn unless I was like one of the 5 best teams in the country, because they're pretty darn good and they've got a ton of talent. They just screwed it up again tonight. BYU beat UCF 41-21. They trailed early 14-0 in that one, but BYU wins to secure a spot in the Big 12 championship game. Miami emphatically over Pitt. So Miami makes a statement today, defeating Pitt 38-7. Vandy 45, Tennessee 24. That was a tie game at halftime, and Vandy controlled the second half 24-3. So Vandy with a statement win. Compare Miami and compare Vanderbilt. And off the top of my head, Vandy's got a better resume than Miami, but Miami beat Notre Dame, and Notre Dame should probably be in the playoff. It's a convoluted mess if you really think about it. USC 29, UCLA 10. That's one of those rivalry games that on the outside, CFP and all of it meant nothing, but I love the battle for Los Angeles. It is the prettiest game in college football. Aesthetically, there is nothing like it. Give me USC and UCLA just in terms of taking a picture. If you're going to take a picture of college football and put it somewhere and just have it be aesthetically pleasing, that's your game. Now, that said, I didn't watch a heck of a whole lot of it. USC wins 29-10. Virginia goes to the ACC championship game and finishes a 10-2 regular season with a win against rival Virginia Tech 27-7. In one of those strange but true rivalry statistics, Virginia Tech won 19 of the previous 20 games against Virginia. Virginia was 1-19 against the Hokies going into tonight's game, but they get it done and they march on to Charlotte. So congratulations to Tony Elliott and Virginia. On the flip side, SMU blows its chance to go to a second consecutive ACC championship game, losing at Cal 38-35. They were playing from behind most of the game, and they missed a kick at the end after Cal had scored a touchdown with just about 45 seconds left to ultimately win the game. Tulane puts himself in prime position with a win against Charlotte, 27-0, and Tulane marches on to the conference championship game at 7-1. Louisville. Okay. Typically, rivalry games, it seems, bring teams together. Good teams, bad teams can play excellent games like UCLA, despite that final score, were in that game up until the final 5 or 6 minutes. Not so the case today. Kentucky did not show up, and Louisville wins this game 41-0. Clemson beat South Carolina 28-14 in the Battle of the Palmetto State. Houston, kind of an under-the-radar 9-3 team after they beat Baylor 31-24. Kansas State over Colorado 24-14, as the Big 12 does not believe in rivalry weekend, clearly. There is no Kansas State. There's no Utah-BYU on rivalry weekend. They just haphazardly throw teams together. Iowa State beat Oklahoma State 20-13. East Carolina 42, FAU 3. Toledo 21, Central Michigan 3. Ball State falls at Miami of Ohio 45-24. I know that Western Michigan earlier this week at 7-1 in the MAC wrapped up a berth in the conference championship game. And we get it right there. Miami is their competitor in Detroit in the MAC championship game. So it's Miami, Western Michigan for the MAC. Delaware 61 and UTEP 31. FIU defeats Sam Houston 56-16. It's Georgia Southern defeating Marshall 24-19. Jacksonville State defeats Western Kentucky 37-34. Louisiana Tech 42, Missouri State 30. Old Dominion 27-10 over Georgia State. Arkansas State defeats App State 30-29. Syracuse must be horrible. I know they lost their starting quarterback and their backup quarterback, and they might have even lost their third-string quarterback, but still, my goodness, they lost to BC. BC finally gets off the schneid, wins its first conference game of the season, 34-12. Middle Tennessee over New Mexico, 31-24. We've got Louisiana defeating Louisiana Monroe. That is the rivalry game that everyone keeps their eye on, 30-27. Texas State over South Alabama, 49-26. UAB defeats Tulsa, 31-24. Mizzou over Arkansas, 31-17. So the Tigers finish at 8-4. Arkansas, of course, trying to nail down its next head coach. Minnesota keeps the axe. They defeat Wisconsin 17-7 in a snowstorm. Penn State over Rutgers, 40-36. Penn State goes bowling. Duke marches on to the ACC championship game. They beat Wake Forest 49-32. What a barn burner. I'm going to check out those highlights after the show. TCU over Cincinnati 45-23. We've got Kennesaw State over Liberty 48-42. Troy beat Southern Miss 28-18. Army 27-24 over Texas San Antonio. Of course, the final actual regular season game is always Army, Navy, coming up next week, or the week after, I should say. James Madison 59 and Coastal Carolina 10. And so we've got JMU finishing the season at 11-1. Florida State in shambles. This has to be the worst combination of these two teams we've ever seen, at least in the last 50 years of college football. Florida wins it 40-21. Washington State over Oregon State 32-28. Oregon State had won the earlier contest. This is the only matchup in college football that is scheduled twice over the past 2 seasons. That will end with this one season. So embrace history. We have seen history over the last 2 years with a Pac-12 of 2 teams, a Pac-2, and Washington State wins 32-8 to become bowl eligible, 6-6. Michigan State defeats Maryland 38-28. And maybe Mike Loxley and or Jonathan Smith are looking for jobs on Sunday. South Florida defeats Rice 52-3. Northwestern, Illinois. Illinois wins it 20-13 to finish at 8-4, a quiet 8-4. And the final score of the day, the Bill Belichick's lose to North Carolina State, another rivalry game there. And the Wolfpack wins it 42-19. On to your calls and the chat as well. And I think because I have made the grave error in recent weeks to let the first caller, the first and the second caller just ramble on forever. And then I get to the end and I can only get like people on for 30 seconds. So we're going 3 minutes per phone call. So give me your best 3 minutes and we will start with Minnesota Dave.
Hey, mini axe soda Dave. Yes. Got
Nice.
the axe. Love this shirt. I'll wear it every day anytime we play Wisconsin. What a game that I expected that would happen to be like. Very low scoring. Whoever made the most mistakes was going to lose the game, and that's what happened. Wisconsin made the most mistakes. Huge mistakes. 2 interceptions. We only capitalized off of one of them, which was the one. I keep on forgetting the guy's name, number 17 for us. He had a heck of a game. He had 2 interceptions today too. But he played extremely well. I would just say we bend but didn't break, and totally just I wouldn't say dominated, but once we were going up by 2 scores, I just felt that this game was going to be pretty much over. Wisconsin couldn't even move the ball. They had one big play the whole entire game near the end of the half, and that was it. And we just dug our heels into the snow and just see what happens. And we ended up winning this game. We were the better team.
Yeah, so I got to say, I love this rivalry. Always have. I've watched many of them. Today, I tried for the first time this season. I figured this is the day to do it. There's too many games for me to watch, too many I want to see at the same time. So I tried the YouTube TV picture or box.
Yeah, I did the same dang
Wisconsin
thing.
is one of those, and I just can't follow that. It does me no good. It just I can't do it. So I had Minnesota, Wisconsin on for about maybe 45 minutes, but I can't say that I got a lot out of it.
No.
So I just saw that there was snow all over the place. That makes it obviously difficult to throw the ball, but Drake Lindsey was still good enough to throw a touchdown pass. I saw that to the tight end at the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
And
Gears made a great catch and celebrated, and then fell down and got had to be helped off the field right after it.
Oh,
yeah. He catches the ball, celebrates, and then just goes right down. And then he just had a little bit of a limp going off when they were holding him up. I don't even think he got back into the game. I think he was trying to run on it a little bit, but that was pretty much it. But I think with a game like that, you also out-coach people. You get the turnovers and you out-coach them.
So the guy, Minnesota Dave, you're talking about, John Nestor, he's the Iowa transfer.
Yes. Yes. Oh, he's the Iowa. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. I remember him. Yes. Yeah, he had a heck of a game. Made great tackles, and just like I said, 2 interceptions, and caused the fumble.
Oh, he had 2 interceptions too.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and one he almost ran back. He just got tired out. And that was the one that ended up setting up the touchdown from to the tight end.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Dave.
Well, thank you, Mark. I'm just gonna say, Sky Uma, row the boat, and F the Badgers. Have a nice night.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, bye-bye.
See you, man. That's what this is all about right here. This is what rivalry weekend's all about. Not the college football playoff. It's about rivalry games. And we got to see Minnesota and Wisconsin in a snowstorm. And Minnesota wins 17-7. And if there's any game in college football that should be played in a snowstorm, it would be Minnesota and Wisconsin. So PJ finishes 7-5 this season, and Minnesota will get one of its typical bowl appearances. I don't know, to the Belk Bowl or wherever it's going to go. I have completely lost track of bowl selection process in these conferences. I used to have that all memorized. so-and-so would get the 1 seed, the 2 seed, the 3 seed, the 4 seed, et cetera, in each conference. But I have no idea at this point. But we will find out after the playoffs are selected on Sunday. Then the bowl bids go out that day. Wisconsin played much better down the stretch. They beat Washington and they beat Illinois, but they were a loser today, 17-7. And I assume none of you really care about Minnesota and Wisconsin. All right, let's keep it going. We got Michael chiming in. Michael, what's going on today?
Not much, Mark, and sorry about that a few minutes ago.
Sorry about what?
When I buzzed you.
No, that is a favor. Thank you.
Okay, I won't be long, but are you surprised the spread between Ohio State and IU 6.5?
I'm sorry, what's that?
The spread is 6.5.
Okay. Sounds reasonable. Mm-hmm. I assume Ohio State's a favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
And I gotta ask you this, so yeah, the stadium looked pretty good and stuff like that. But what did you think about the first touchdown? Did you think he bobbled it?
Oh, well, there's no question he bobbled it, but I'm not understanding what the controversy is. He caught the football at like the 5-yard line.
Yeah,
so
because
he had possession of the football. So at that point, it would have had to have been a fumble, but you can only fumble the football if you drop it on the ground. So I'm not understanding the controversy behind
it. The rule is like if you have it and bobble it, even if you're in to go out of bounds and not have control, it's considered a touchback. It's put like this. It's like targeting.
He didn't bobble the ball. He caught the ball.
Oh, you're talking about on the first touchdown?
Yeah, Jeremiah Smith.
He did bobble the ball.
The football, and then he caught the football. I would love to watch the play again, but anyway, I would show it if we could. Yeah. But my memory, I'm not going to guarantee this 100% because I've seen 5,000 football plays since. And again, I think we have gotten so incredibly technical with the stupid football playbook that if that's not a touchdown, I don't know what's a touchdown when a guy catches the ball at like the 4-yard line and he has possession of the football. I understand he's there. He clearly started to juggle. I wouldn't even call it juggling the ball. There was air between his hands and the ball. It popped up twice. Yeah. But he had already caught the football. So to me, that would be called a fumble. If he lost control of the ball, you could call that a fumble, but he maintained possession of the football. All the ball has to do, if you've already caught the football, is once you hit the goal line, then it's a touchdown.
Yeah, but hey, I've seen
I've
seen stranger things that happen. I've been also, I won't get long and stuff. I've been refereeing football for 35 years, and I've seen some targeting penalties tonight that made me scratch my head because I don't even know what targeting is anymore.
Yeah, I did as well. I saw a lot of targeting throughout the weekend in regards to, okay, that's targeting, that got called, but this didn't get called. An Iowa player clearly targeted and a Nebraska player on Friday, but he didn't get called for targeting. They threw the flag, but then they picked it up. I wasn't so annoyed by targeting as much, although I'm with you. I saw the same thing. I saw inconsistent application of the targeting rule over the weekend. And I also just get so annoyed at these late hits on quarterbacks, meaning that I don't know what these guys are supposed to do when they are one step away from the quarterback and they are running full speed. I saw an Auburn player running full speed at Ty Simpson. As soon as Simpson throws the football, he lets up. He pulls back and just bumps him. Didn't even try to wrap him up. Like in the old days, you're wrapping up, you're throwing him to the ground because you had a step and a half to get to the quarterback without it being roughing. And he got called for roughing the passer. I
think there was a little bit. I think there was contact with the helmet. That's why they called it. But anyway, my last thing, I brought it up last night. Maybe you can bring it up later. Coaches who will not be, because you already mentioned two, and Jonathan Smith and Mike Locksley. Who do you think some of the others might be?
Oh, boy.
And with that, thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you being here.
Yep.
And again, Michael, thank you for calling me. I do appreciate that. Yes. We are having our audio issues. I don't know what's going on with my mic. It's probably seen its last days. Okay, so Michael would like a rundown of who could possibly be fired. We'll stick to the power conferences. You can't see what I'm putting up there. It would help me greatly if I looked at the standings. Who could get fired? Look at that. ACC. I love that. 5-way tie for second place. 5-way tie. And it just so happens that the team that has the least credentials overall gets the bid to the championship game. You know what this shows you? Number one, the conferences are too large. They're too large because you look at this 5-way tie and SMU and Pitt didn't play. SMU and Georgia Tech didn't play. SMU and Duke didn't play. Duke and Pitt didn't play. Duke and Miami didn't play. That's the problem. Teams don't play. They can't separate themselves. Stupidity. So realignment has caused these stupid tiebreakers to be put into effect. And I call them stupid tiebreakers because really everything past head-to-head is just a roll of the dice. It's meaningless. It's just a way to break a tie that's not meaningful and does not in any way give evidence or proof that that particular team that's selected based on that tiebreaker is the better team. You might as well just draw straws at this point, flip coins, do those sorts of things to select the participants in these championship games, because past head-to-head, it would be more valid for them to go with score differential. That would be more valid than these cockamamie, well, this group plays these common opponents, but then if this team would have lost today, then it changes the variation of the teams that tied, and they play a different set of common opponents. None of those things give any indication to who's the best team or who played the best season. It's the stupidest thing in humanity. Well, I wish it was, because we've got a lot more stupid things going on in real society, of course, that's completely insane, but within the sports realm. So who's going to get fired? I don't see anybody getting fired. Of course, Stanford's got to hire a new head coach, so they're playing their last game tonight. They're going to finish probably 4-8 after they lose to Notre Dame, and Frank Reich is an interim just for this season, as we understand it. So Stanford has to hire a coach, and I don't believe that they have. And I don't see those other coaches getting fired. Of course, Virginia Tech's got a new coach, Bill O'Brien. This is only his second season, and Fran Brown's second season at Syracuse. In the Big 12, I could see Dave Aranda getting fired at Baylor. They finished 5-7. I could see him getting fired. Of course, Mike Gundy got fired, and it's Rich Rod's first season. It's Scott Frost's first season. And they went a combined 4-14 in the Big 12. And then we've got the Big 10, and we've got the aforementioned Luke Fickell at Wisconsin. But of course, Wisconsin has said that he's sticking around for 2026, and Wisconsin played much better down the stretch. But Mike Locksley, my goodness, if I'm Maryland, gone. How he's got a job, I have no idea. Mike Locksley should be fired. Now, Jonathan Smith, this is his second season. This is Mike Locksley's like 6th season. Maryland's terrible. He should be fired. Of course, UCLA needs a new head coach. Then we've got this interesting situation, as I understand it. Did I see the other day where Jim Mora got the Colorado State job? Leaving UConn after a 9-3 season. All right, then we've got finally the SEC. So Sam Pittman already got fired. Brian Kelly already got fired. Maybe Mark Stoops gets fired. They lose 41-0 against their rival the last game of the season. They're 5-7. They went 4-8 last year. I would probably fire Mark Stoops. And I think Mark Stoops is a really good football coach, but it might just be time for him to be gone. I don't think that South Carolina is going to depart with Shane Beamer. I think they're going to give him more time. I think they like him. I think the general consensus is that he's got things going in the right direction, but they had an awfully disappointing season. So those would be my candidates for firing this year. All right. I thought we had George on the line, but George has dropped off. If anybody wants to call, certainly give me a call and we can talk some college football. Conundrum is telling us that Mark Stoops' buyout is $43 million. And we might as well look ahead to the conference championships. But before we do that, let's take a look at the scores once again, because I may have a few things to say. So this is going to be mighty interesting. Notre Dame on their way to 10-2. In addition to this head-to-head situation between Notre Dame and Miami, they also both played Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford, and NC State. They've got 4 common opponents, and they both pretty much just dragged them around the field, is what happened there. And I hate when this defaults to the top 25. There we go. And again, this Mountain West situation is quite compelling, not involving these teams that we see here. As Fresno State leads San Jose State 21-7 in the third, and Hawaii leads just before halftime. I guess 20 minutes left in the second quarter, I believe, means halftime for Hawaii and Wyoming. And UNLV has dusted off Nevada 42-17. So a successful first season with Dan Mullen taking over for Barry Odom. 42-17. So if anybody knows who's going to the Mountain West Conference Championship game, let us know, because I believe we've got a 4-way tie for first place. We'll look that up in just a second. Unless somebody's going to call and ask me questions about Ohio State, Michigan, I laid it all out there in the instant analysis live stream this afternoon. Ohio State wins. I believe they're the best team in the nation, but we will soon find out, because they're going to be playing playoff games. And they're going to be playing a Big Ten championship game against Indiana. That should be quite entertaining. Ohio State, Indiana both played Purdue, Illinois, Penn State, and Wisconsin. So we can always make those comparisons. Texas Tech finishes off West Virginia 49-0. So Texas Tech, clearly the best team in the Big 12. Clearly the best team in the Big 12, unless BYU shows us something different. But it seems like BYU is barely slipping by some teams each week, while Texas Tech is in clear dominant form. All right. We got our buddy Trey stopping by tonight. And again, we remind everyone that we dropped the link in the chat. The link for the call-in line is also in the description section of the video, and we don't want to push people back as we have in the last few weeks. So I apologize to anybody that's called over the last few weeks, because I've given way too much time to like 2 people, and then I have to scurry through the last 3 or 4 calls. So we'll go for about 3 minutes with everyone, including our buddy Trey. Trey, what's going on tonight?
Nothing, Mark. Pretty good rivalry week, it seems. It seems like a pretty good rivalry week. Alabama-Auburn was a very wonderful game. That's how it's supposed to be right there.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was the old Iron Bowl. The last couple of years hasn't been as great, but that one, that reminds me of Nick Saban versus the Gus Buzz with Keith Marshall and Trey Mason. That was a couple of years. That was great. And also, I'm very happy that the Gators, even when we suck, we still beat the Florida State Noles somehow, and we blew them out. I was actually surprised about that, how we blew them out. I thought Florida State would kill us, but that surely didn't happen. Florida State's probably down bad. What is the question is here, Mark, since we've seen all what we've seen this weekend with the rivalry week.
Yep.
Tomorrow's rankings, and I think you're having a show there, right, tomorrow? They said something about Sunday.
I do not have a show on Sundays.
Oh, I'm surprised. They said something about a ranking show on Sunday.
Well, we've got a ranking show. The ranking show is Tuesday night.
Yeah, they moved it to Sunday. That seemed like a line on SPN.
The final one's on Sunday.
Okay. But
I might be wrong unless they changed it this year. It's always been Tuesday night. And then the final one is obviously, since the championship games are on Saturday night, then Sunday at noon on the final weekend.
I'm not surprised if anything happens because they've been screwing it up. Now we have basketball. But the question is, what we learned tonight, do you think that Miami impressed enough to get in the playoffs? But with Vanderbilt, that was an impressive win by Vanderbilt.
Yes,
that was brilliant.
I love Vandy. I want to see Vandy in the playoffs. There's something wrong if a team goes through an SEC schedule at 10-2 and beats teams like Tennessee, and LSU and Missouri, and who else did they beat? They had another good win. They had no bad losses. And if they don't make the playoff, and I know there's only so many spots, and we're going to have a difficult selection. So I really like what Vandy did today. They had to step up, and it was a close game at halftime, tied, and they took control in the second half and did what they had to do.
Yeah, it might be between Vanderbilt and Miami or Notre Dame. A couple of teams could jump Notre Dame like we've been predicting for a little while.
All right, Trey, let's lay this out.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
Ohio State, Indiana, they're in. Okay.
Yes.
That's 2 in the Big Ten, and Oregon from the Big Ten.
Yes.
Okay, that's 3 for sure from the Big Ten.
Yes.
Then let's say Virginia wins the ACC championship game. All right.
Okay.
So they'll be in. And just so we don't muck it up right now with Duke, and that's a whole other.
Oh no, we're not trying to do that today.
That I love that Duke made the ACC championship game. Love it.
Whoa! They made the ACC championship game?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
How the hell did that even happen? What happened to SMU? Did they lose?
They lost to Cal tonight. They missed a field goal.
Oh my God! I did not pay attention to SMU.
That was a great game.
Oh really? I was watching Auburn, Alabama, then playing.
Well, I was too, and I was then checking in on Cal and SMU, and
wow.
Yeah, Cal led the whole game. They led it by as many as 3 scores, and SMU came back, and then they took the lead 38-35, 35-31, and then Cal came down in the final minutes, scored with like 40 seconds left to take the lead 38-35. SMU brought it down the field. They got within field goal range, but their kicker missed like a pretty long field goal, like a 45-yarder, 48-yarder at the gun. So SMU, Miami, Duke, and Georgia Tech all finished 6-2. And based on some crazy tiebreaker, Duke goes to the ACC championship game.
How about that? Good for man. Something we talked about that earlier about if Duke can get in there.
And you must have missed it. I was going on a rant before you called because to me it's completely ridiculous. This is nothing against Duke, but if 4 or 5 teams tie for a conference championship game berth, once you get past head to head, all of these crazy, what were their records against common opponents? What were their records against? And then it creates different tiebreakers depending on who wins and loses that day. So it could have been a 3-way tie or a 4-way tie or a 5-way tie, and it changes the number of common opponents. None of those things tell us who the best team is. They're just stupid, random ways to break ties between teams. it's actually more credible to add up their point differentials in the conference.
You know, it reminded me in 2008, this was the same problem with Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and Texas. Oklahoma beat Texas beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma beat Texas Tech.
I get where you're going with that, but that's different.
Yeah,
this is the issue. Well, those three teams actually played. So
that's what I mean. They all played. Maybe
they all played, but they all beat each other. So it went roundabout, and so they all went 7-1. So whatever their tiebreaker was, but at least they played each other.
Yeah.
In the ACC, we got a bunch of teams tied that, and I just ran through the standings. Duke didn't play Miami. Duke didn't play Pitt. Pitt didn't play SMU. Like most of them didn't even play each other.
This is why this is the difficulty of that, and also affects the playoffs too. I think the conferences are getting too big, and no one thought about this through. And we also need to have common opponents. That's why divisions were so important. Now you see people seeing the problem now. No one's facing each other. It could be one team, like you said, and they wouldn't have none of the four that has tiebreakers of each other, and all of a sudden that one goes.
Yeah,
they got narrow it down.
We almost had a tiebreaker situation if it would have broke right this weekend in the Big Ten. Indiana,
I've seen that.
Oregon, Michigan. We could have had a four-way tie for first place, and almost none of them played. It would have just been Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State, Michigan. But Ohio State never played Oregon. They never played Indiana. Indiana never played Michigan. Oregon didn't play Michigan. It's stupid.
We need to cut it down, Mark. And I am so disappointed how this new world of college football went. I didn't like the geographical. Now it meant into a bigger problem. Later down the road, not only it caused problems this year, imagine if the conferences get bigger. This will cause more issues. And what's the point of having conference championships if they can't don't know what the tiebreakers and who's coming out with them, and no one facing each other? So one day they're either going to shrink it down, or just get rid of the conference championships and we just have a top 25 and who's in the top 12. We just base on that from now on.
Yeah, just because if you get a four-way tie, just because one team went 3-0 against common opponents and the others went 2-1 doesn't make them a better team. You know what that means? That means that they had a worse record against the rest of the teams in the conference than the other teams. That doesn't mean anything. It
is madness. Stupid. But I'm glad Duke got in there, and I think you was rooting for Duke and Virginia to get there, and you finally got what you want.
Love it.
I love it. Imagine Duke. I'm sorry, whoever wins the ACC title. I want to state it right now. If it's going to be a bad drawing for them and a bad showing, because whoever they're going to face after this ACC championship, they're going to get their doors blown off. I'm sorry. Even though I want it bad enough for them to make it for a little while, if they wind up with a Georgia team or like a Notre Dame team, anybody that's pretty damn good that's probably be in the playoffs, they're not going to be standing a chance. It's going to remind me of that Cincinnati game versus Alabama a couple of years ago. They didn't even have a chance, Mark. They won't have a chance.
All right, Trey, before I let you go, do you want to go through these playoff games, these playoff teams?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I'll comment.
So Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana are in. Virginia's in. Let's say they win the ACC championship game. So let's not play around with Duke, maybe not getting a bid because they're not a highest ranked champion.
Okay.
Texas Tech wins the Big 12. Let's say. Let's just start there. Georgia, Bama, Texas A&M in for sure from the SEC.
Who?
Georgia, Bama, Texas A&M.
I know Georgia, Texas A&M for sure, but I'm not sure about Alabama. I wonder if this performance can affect them a little bit.
They're going to be playing in the SEC championship game.
Oh, they are? Okay. Never mind. Never mind then.
All right. And then a G5.
Okay.
That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 9 spots. Okay. We got 3 spots left, and we've got Vandy. Oh, Oklahoma's in.
Oh, right? Yeah, I forgot about that. Yep.
Okay. So we got 10 spots Now we only have 2 left.
Okay.
And we've got Vandy. We've got Notre Dame. We've got Miami. We got BYU.
Oh my gosh.
Am I missing anyone?
Oh, I
Possibly.
would say Utah, but
Utah.
they're close. But I don't think they're gonna make it in anyway.
I guess that's it.
I would put Texas
And Texas.
Don't forget even though we want to write Texas off, all of a sudden they creep right back in there. So this is the problem. You got 6 good teams in 2 spots.
Yep.
And I would put Vanderbilt in there, Mark. That was an impressive win, no doubt. I love Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia. I was a little critical of. I thought them really need to beat Tennessee can help them. They blew them out, and with no chance in the second half. So I would actually put them in for that one of them spots. And now the problem is,
who's your last team?
So I would not put Utah. Let's go ahead and cross elimination. I would not put Utah.
All right.
Their time is running out.
Okay.
I would also cross off Texas.
All right.
Because that Florida Gator, listen, if they did not lose to Florida, I would not hesitate to put them in. Because I understand losing to Georgia. They're a tough team.
Notre Dame, Miami, BYU. And let's say BYU loses respectably in the conference championship game.
That's a tough one. Especially versus Texas Tech, that's a top 5 team. I would take that into consideration for sure. Notre Dame and Miami, what do they did for me lately? And how good do they play? And while you're taking head-to-head and the consistency of play, I would put Notre Dame in there. I would either put Notre Dame or BYU, and I would I would put BYU over Notre Dame. I would put BYU in the last spot.
BYU and Vandy.
Yes.
They get the last 2 spots. Okay.
Yes. I'm not sure. It seems like
really
Notre
argue
Dame,
with that.
It seems
I can make a case for almost all those teams except Utah, but I cannot argue with Vandy and BYU being selected. If BYU's only 2 losses are to the number 5 team in the country, and the second one's close, and they're 11-2, and Vandy played in the best conference top to bottom.
Yes.
And I even think that there's an issue. I still have an issue with Texas. So I would not vote for or include Texas in the playoff because they're 9-3, and because of the Florida loss, that was just a bad loss.
That was really bad.
Worst loss on the board. However, they're basically getting penalized for scheduling Ohio State, and they played them close in Columbus.
Well,
if Texas doesn't schedule that game, they're in the playoff.
Yeah, it does sound bad. That is really bad. I ain't gonna lie to you, Mark. There's no way around that. That actually a great scheduling. They even get a chance, and I ain't gonna lie, but I don't think they would have cared if they lost to Ohio State. If they just didn't lose to Florida, they could lose to Texas A&M or whoever else in their schedule. But that one Gator loss really hurt them, Mark. It was that bad. And they got dominated. I'm not talking about a field goal. They got blown out early.
Yep.
And so that's
right, Jay.
Also, for the last comment, Mark.
Yes.
The only reason I put BYU over Notre Dame and Miami, even though I want to put Notre Dame in there, you're right, though. They faced the same opponent and lost twice in the top 5. And Miami has not been playing consistently. And Notre Dame hasn't faced nobody worthy except for Pitt and Miami, Texas A&M, and 2 of those 3 they lost. So I couldn't put them over a BYU team that has proven over and over and over again throughout the year, facing a pretty good conference in the Big 12, and they're the only one to beat them is Texas Tech.
Yeah, if it comes down to exactly what we're looking at right here, if you select Notre Dame, then you almost have to select Miami. Now, the committee's not showing us that right now, but that's what they should do. And so that would be your 2 teams right there. There's no connection between the rest of these teams.
Now, if Alabama loses the SEC championship, I would put Notre Dame over Alabama because that's probably because let me tell you something.
Okay.
Yes, they beat Georgia, but it's not enough. Now you go to the SEC championship. It's completely different than BYU.
You're going to penalize Alabama if they lose by a field goal to Georgia.
No, if it's more than a field goal, yes. No, it's a field goal, no. Yes.
You're going to knock out Alabama for losing to Georgia by like 6 points.
More like 10 or 14. That could happen.
Well, of course it could happen.
Because the Alabama I see today, even though it's a rivalry game, they would have played. Now they're going to be playing next Saturday, and they bring that same team to versus Georgia. Georgia's going to blow their doors out.
Okay. All right, Trey. Appreciate you being here.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
So I got to admit, some of these things are difficult to weed through. And one of those is how we weigh these conference championship games, because Alabama's going out there and they're exposing themselves to a certain extent. They're playing Georgia and they're in the playoff right now. They're 10-2. They are in the playoff with their schedule. We all know that. They are safely in the playoff. However, they go out, lose to Georgia 42-10. I don't know. Then how do you evaluate that? I think it should be evaluated. It's a data point. It's a football game, and the champion reaps the benefits of winning the game. Therefore, there has to be a flip evaluation of the other side of that performance, and that would be Alabama getting their doors blown off by Georgia. However, man, after they finished the season where they beat Tennessee, Vandy, Georgia, barely lost to Oklahoma, then they're going to get penalized if they lose to Georgia and get knocked down with a third loss because they had to play Georgia when teams like Notre Dame and Miami didn't get to play in a conference championship game against a team the likes of Georgia. Just doesn't seem too fair. All right. We're running out of time. We do have 6 minutes left, and we'll go 3 minutes per.
My name's Donald, so I'm an Ohio State fan.
Awesome.
It was a good game. I appreciate you letting me come on.
Of course.
I think one thing about that Alabama, I think a third loss team is never getting in the playoff. Don't matter about how the schedule is. Never. A third loss team is never getting in that college football playoff.
Okay.
Never.
All right.
Yep. And Ohio State running game was superb in that game.
Yes.
I think that's why they won that game. That running game, Michigan couldn't stop it.
Not in the second half, they couldn't, especially.
Right. -8. I've never seen that where a team finished with -8 rushing yards for Michigan.
Yeah, I thought if Ohio State could just simply move the ball on the ground when they had to, meaning like 3rd and short, 4th and short, that they didn't have to have a great rushing attack. And if they held Michigan in check in the, 150 to 200 range,
plus I think they tied down under Bryce Underwood where they wouldn't let him run.
Yeah, it was an impressive performance, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have because I don't want to tie up. You only got like 5 minutes left.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being here. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I just think it's going to be a good playoff. But how far do you think A&M goes? Number 4? Or you think they're out of the bye situation?
Great question. So,
do you think they stay at 5? Do you think they go to 5?
Their resume is not strong. Their resume.
I think they're going to go 5. I think they're going to the 5th seed. I think Texas Tech's going to be the 4th seed.
I think that you have to elevate all of those teams above them.
But you got to remember, there's so many 1-loss, and there's so many 2-loss teams. That's the issue. This is chaos.
Yes. I don't know if you heard the previous caller, but we narrowed it down to 6 teams vying for 2 spots.
I just don't think Alabama's an automatic. I don't think so. I think they have to beat Georgia or they're out.
Okay.
3 losses is not going to make the playoff. It never has. Has any 3 losses ever made it?
How do you make that evaluation when you're comparing them to a bunch of teams that didn't get a chance to play to lose a 3rd game? You're penalizing.
Well, you can't fault that. That's the schedule. You play the schedule you're given.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these other teams did not advance to a conference championship game. Alabama's losing a 3rd. If they lose this 3rd game, they're losing it because they advanced to a conference championship game.
Yeah.
So they're getting penalized for playing an extra game.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Well, that's all you can
Yes, we
say.
will.
I don't think they're automatic, though. I don't think Alabama's automatic, though.
No, I don't think they are either. I think if they look bad, they'll
Yeah,
get.
it depends on the score. Like a lot of people think if they get their doors blown off by more than 20 points, yes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
All right. Well, you have a good evening and appreciate you letting me come in.
Yeah, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. All right. Got 3 minutes left for 2 calls. So, George, how you doing tonight, George? Your team looked good.
Hey, Mark. Oh, yeah,
you
we're
been?
the best.
Well,
I think we should be in your top 25.
You're the best in
I've been
northern
good.
Florida. How about that?
And we're the best in Gainesville.
Yes, best in Gainesville.
Any given Saturday. Hey, your last caller was my favorite caller because right at the end he said, well, I'm going to let you go, Mark. I want to tie you up. You only have a few minutes left to go. And then all hell broke loose. Y'all started talking about yards per carry. And I was like, whoa, you can't say that and then talk for another 2 minutes.
I don't think there was anything concerning yards per carry, but I get your point, George.
I know
George,
it's funny. It's good to have sense of humor.
What do you have for us tonight?
Mostly, just think about scenarios. At the end of the day, I love Miami and their fan base. But don't you think it would be funny if they didn't get in? Give them something to talk about in the off season.
I think that if they don't go in, that there are other teams that are just as worthy as they are. I don't think that they have a slam dunk argument.
Lost to and get into the playoff. No way. That's impossible. They play a weak schedule to begin with. If you're going to play a weak schedule, at least win the games you're supposed to win. My goodness gracious.
In the ACC. That's because
that's a problem.
The ACC.
You know what? I'm not an expert. It amazed me today that Cal won. Who did they beat? Cal? Who did they beat?
SMU, and they knocked them out of the ACC championship game.
Yeah. I didn't see the game. I just saw the score. I was like, wow, really? Cal beat SMU?
Yeah. It was a fun game. I just saw the very end of it.
Yeah, I saw some people commenting in the chat. What other good games? Oh, Auburn, Alabama. I watched most of that. That was great. Auburn, the team that will find a way to lose the game no matter what.
Yeah,
they'll find some way to lose.
They played great. They looked like about a top 10 team, but they make too many mistakes and they just figure out how to lose. Yep, that's who they are.
Do you know what? I think Florida challenges them for the crown season for finding ways to lose the game. I mean, sometimes DJ Lagway had to throw 6 interceptions for us to lose. We found creative ways to lose this year. 6 interceptions. All right. Only because I know you have other callers, I'm going to let you go. And we're not going to talk for 2 more minutes because you got to go.
Well, George, call us back anytime.
Hey, look, I'm wearing my colors, man.
I see that. Gators win. So despite the just complete abomination that this season was, you beat your rival at the end. So
I'm about to break my vow not to talk anymore. I had a $500 bet with a guy at the beginning of this year. If FSU doesn't win the games, I get $500. And I took the bet. And how did it come down to the last game, to the Florida game, to determine whether FSU would win 7? Because if they'd have beat us, they'd have another opportunity in a bowl game to make it. They would have been 6 and whatever, 6 and 6 or whatever. So by us beating them, I won the $500 bet. They will not win 7 games this year.
Well done, George. Put that to good use.
Oh, I need it for my deposit on my new apartment. the 500. It's all going to my landlord for his escrow account.
Very nice.
That's a good use.
All right, George. Call back.
All right,
soon.
love you guys.
Thanks, man.
Nice to see y'all again.
Good to see you,
Later.
George. Call
Bye.
back soon. All righty. And we did have 2 other callers waiting, but they dropped off here in the last 30 seconds or so. They just dropped off. So we had 2 other callers, but they got tired of waiting. So I apologize that sometimes you have to wait behind some other callers, but usually I'm pretty lenient with the length of these calls. So that's a good and bad thing. Anything else in the comments before we wrap it up on a fine Saturday night on rivalry weekend? Adam is telling us the dumbasses see the problems now, but it's too late. It's ruined a college football playoff season. I don't know what that refers to. Tony's here. Tony, good to see you, man. Thank you for showing up tonight. Good to see you. And I would like to extend the Thanksgiving weekend celebration and say thanks to all of you for joining the chat, whether you've been watching us for a week or a month or a year or 10 years here at the Voice of College Football. We do appreciate your support. Please like this video and please subscribe. And we have a lot of interesting things planned over the next few months. So all I will say is that once we get to the end of the college football season, we're going to do our best to cover the rest of the season. We have run into a number of challenges that have not allowed us to cover this season as well as we have in the past. So please bear with us. But once we get to the end of the season, we will have some announcements to make concerning the future of the channel. So I'm sure that will all just be on your mind from now until the end of the season. All right. Appreciate y'all being here. Of course, it's championship week. What I would like to do is match up all the championship games and at least look at common opponents, maybe some keys to the game, line up some live streams, and break down Georgia, Alabama, Texas Tech, BYU, Ohio State, Indiana, and Virginia and Duke. And then, of course, we've got the American Conference Championship game that's going to weigh heavily into the G5 rep spot as well. All right. Guys, thanks for being here. You are much appreciated. And once again, hope you had a happy Thanksgiving weekend. It's championship week, and we will do our darndest to be all over it. And thanks for being here. Please like and subscribe, and we will catch you soon. Remember that the Sunday night show is the Ladies of College Football with Minnie and with Doreen. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'll be back on Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here. Top 25 that actually makes sense will be coming out on Sunday as well.